In the coming years, climate change, degrading infrastructure, and political instability will make accessing fresh water more difficult and much more expensive. Engineers, hydrologists, and economists tell us there's really no way around this. But billions of people around the world simply can't afford to pay more for their water. This means that one of the greatest challenges we face is not just building more adaptable and more resilient water infrastructures, but also distributing water through these new infrastructures in ways that people will view as just and equitable. This is easy to say, but much more difficult to execute. From local water conflicts among neighbors to mass protests against water privatization and constitutional debates over water rights, we can see that our moral values for water instigate passionate responses to our distribution systems. To implement effective strategies for water distribution, we have to take these moral values into account. This means that we need better theories to understand how people's moral values shape their actions and reactions around water. I'm Melissa Beresford, and I'm an anthropologist. I conduct fieldwork with water-insecure households to understand the lived experiences of not having adequate water. I've been doing work with my colleagues to develop better theories to understand human behaviors around water. We think that an old social science theory explains a lot of the behaviors that we are seeing on the ground, and that this theory can help us to design better water distribution systems. It's called a moral economy. Conceptually, a moral economy is a norm-based institution where people's shared understandings of justice regulate norms for distributing resources and what happens when people violate these norms. Operationally, a moral economy has three elements. First, there has to be some sort of shared or collective understanding of justice. For example, we may see a common understanding that water is life, and therefore everyone deserves water, regardless of their ability to pay. Second, there is a set of normative expected economic practices that follow from this understanding. For instance, that water should be capped at a certain price, or that water should be free up to a certain amount, or that wealthy people should subsidize the cost of water. But third, there also needs to be some sort of mechanism of social pressure. For instance, if a wealthy household with a lot of water refuses to give water to a poor neighbor when they run out of water, they could be gossiped about or socially snubbed. Or if a city government increases water prices beyond what people deem affordable, or a national government privatizes a country's fresh water, there could be public demonstrations, protests, or even riots. In a moral economy, the threat of these social sanctions pressures people to adhere to the expected norms. When these three elements instigate and reinforce one another, we find that moral economies allow people to distribute water in ways that may not be equal, but are viewed as acceptably just. But when these elements are out of balance, conflict, even riots can occur, and people may experience a lot of distress over their water situation. The moral economy framework explains how people's behaviors are filtered through their moral understandings of water justice. It can show us when and why people's notions of justice are upheld or not, what norms can successfully govern the distribution of water, and when and why social conflict, rebellion, or riot over water may arise. In short, we see that water distribution systems that uphold notions of water justice follow a moral economy model. We're going to need a lot more research on moral economies for water in the coming years. Questions like, can these normative systems be integrated into formal water policy? Can moral economies be resilient in the face of changing norms, shifting community boundaries, and a diversity of water values? And can moral economies effectively scale? These will all require insights from psychology, political science, anthropology, geography, economics, public policy, and more. We invite you to join us in this agenda as we grapple with the water challenges that lie ahead.